Hello! So today we are going to do a drawing inspired by nesting dolls, also known as Matryoshka dolls from Russia. And this is a great book. I'm just going to show you the very back though that has this wonderful little illustration of a Matryoshka doll. And then I have one here that is pretty traditional looking. I also have one that is of a panda bear. So when you do your drawing today, you can kind of think outside of just drawing a person. So how many do you think are inside of this nesting doll? Shall we find out? And you can see they fit together. They've been made out of wood. I'll show you the label on the bottom there. I lived in Europe for a few years when I was little. And so my parents, as we traveled around, bought some of these. So I'm going to leave her out. She's going to be our inspiration for our drawing, but let's see how many we have. It's pretty snug fitting. All right, we've got 1, 2. It's fun to see how they get smaller and smaller. Look at the shiny coating that they put on there. You can see how it looks nice and shiny. 4. Oh, there's our 5th one. 6. I love when they get smaller and smaller. Oh, and there's the last one. Isn't that fun? So that's almost like a little bowling ball. So those are fun. So we're going to put these aside here. And these were all painted to be matching, but sometimes they will make them different. So each one that you open up will be different than the last one. So on my first drawing, I'm going to do a drawing of just one Matryoshka doll. And the way you can start this, and they're different shapes, if you even notice that even the panda and the woman here are kind of shaped differently. But I'm going to start off with sort of an upside down letter U, just like that. And then this side's going to come out. And I'm going to try to match it on this side because it's symmetrical. It's the same on both sides. Sometimes when we draw one side, it's really hard to match the right side. It's not going to be perfect. You just try your best. And then I'm going to connect these with a nice little curve line because this is round at the bottom. So it's going to have a little curve to it. So now I'm going to be adding in a little shape here for the face. Now, like I said, if you were going to make this into an animal, you definitely can do that. Now, another idea, as I work on that one, is to do a whole family. So you could actually start off here. I'm going to make this a little bit of a different shape here. You could make them get smaller and smaller, like the nesting dolls. And I'm going to go whoop, whoop, whoop. So if you wanted to say, for example, represent your whole family, you could draw them from the oldest to the youngest maybe. Oh, let's do a little one down here. You could even make the little one like a little bundled up pet or something like that. Okay, so here will be where the faces are. So this is just an example of how you could do it with the whole family showing those little nesting dolls. So here I'm going to look at the face, and I'm going to be changing it up the way I want as well. So you could think about, if you're drawing yourself, maybe how does your hair look? Let's see, my hair is always up, so I'm going to have my little hair coming this way. If you had curly hair, you could put in the little curls. If you had braids, you could put that into there. Then I'm going to do a little smile. A lot of these dolls do kind of a little smile like that, and then they make almost like little heart lips. Of course, you do not have to do that. On the nose here, the nose has not even really been drawn. Here, it's just 2 little dashes. I might just make a little swoop just like that. And of course, you can make the eyes however you want. I'm going to do, maybe it's even a little sleeping doll. I'm going to look at my doll eyes here and be inspired by this. Maybe I think this is going to be a self-portrait. So I'm going to make this as myself as a Matryoshka doll. Some little rosy cheeks here. And then, so for the traditional outfits, you can see usually they've got some different patterns and layers, beautiful colors in the fabrics. And I'm thinking, since this is a self-portrait of me, now listen people, I always have like a pencil or something in my hair. So I'm going to add a little brush and a pencil because that way I never lose it. Okay, so I've got that, and I'm going to be very artsy in this one. So I think this is, if you see these kind of triangular, like not triangular, but kind of leaf shaped, these are sort of the bow of this headscarf, and you can see here. Now you might say babushka. Babushka is grandma in Russian, right? So they might wear, sometimes we call these a babushka too. They're going to come down. So I'm going to have these two sides come together. And I'm going to put that there and have my little scarf. But then I think instead of having a dress on, I think I'll have a little art apron on. So if you want to do a self-portrait of yourself, and let's say you play sports, you could put it as a soccer uniform or some other uniform. If you're in Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, maybe you incorporate that into your picture. I think I will have the arms coming forward. This one does not show the arms, and this one does. And I kind of like the idea of having the little arms coming together, and I could be holding on to something. So maybe I'll be holding on to a little sketchbook. I can do all my little drawings in. So there's my sketchbook. And I like this sort of rounded shape here. I'm going to put that on kind of a little decoration of my apron, and then my apron can end there. And then this is when I have fun with the patterns. I do like to wear patterns, so I think that would be fun. If you want to put yourself in a costume, that would be sort of fun if it was you sort of dressed up as an astronaut, or maybe it was an underwater theme. So I really just want you to be kind of inspired by the idea of the shape, the idea of turning a person into a doll. What if you did this of your grandmother or of your grown-up at home, or your grandfather, anybody at home that you could put and show little parts of their personality in here. I'm going to put some more decorations. I think this would be fun to do a family portrait on here, or to do different animals or things like that. And you can sort of look up these nesting dolls to see what different artists do. When you get to the coloring part, now I am inspired by this doll, and I do love lots of color. So I'm going to make sure that I have put in lots and lots of color, but that I've also colored carefully. So I'm slowly outlining each section, especially if you've drawn all these patterns. You don't want to color over stripes, for example, and not color each stripe, because then you lose the pattern that you made. I'm loving this. What do we think this is called? Teal. So I would color really carefully, and you could cut these out. That would be hard to cut around that, but I could cut this out, or I could decorate the background. You could paint the background. You could do all different sorts of things. You could even, if you cut it and you left a piece on the bottom and folded it, it could stand up. So can you see how that's standing up on its own? So that would be kind of fun if you did one for each family. So when I cut that out, I would leave this bottom part and then cut around this shape, and it could pop up and stand up. How cool would that look? Well, good luck making your Matryoshka dolls, or your nesting dolls from Russia.